Football is back, baby. Let's get it.
No huddle, Wilson end zone, caught, touchdown, Elijah Moore.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited that football is back. It's a really, really good time to be a Jets fan. It's a really, really good time to be a football fan. And for the first time in a long time, I'm really excited to watch preseason football. And it's not because we have a new quarterback starting or anything like that. Yes, of course, I'm excited to see Zach Wilson. But there are 5 other storylines and even a different quarterback that I am much more interested in watching. But before we hop into that, guys, a few orders of business to talk to beforehand. First off, if you haven't, hit the like button and the subscribe button. It really, really helps the channel. Trying to grow this thing and make it as big and awesome and bad as possible. We are marching past 1,000 subscribers and on our way to 2,000. I can't believe the support. Thank you so much, guys. Share the video and don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified when new videos drop. Secondly, tonight for the preseason game, I will be hanging out at Buffalo Jet Fan and on his live stream. I won't be on the stream, but I will be in the chat, hanging out, watching the game, and all that stuff. So let me know if you're in there, if you came from this video. A lot of people will be hanging out there. It'll be a good time. But let's hop right into today's videos. I want to talk about 5 stories that I find super interesting going into today's preseason game, especially since it's Philly. Number 1, who gets the starting nod at right tackle? I know that we did just sign Dwayne Brown, but I believe it's too early in the process. He did just get signed to put him in the scheme, to put him out there. So who gets the nod? Is it Max Mitchell? Is it Chuma Edoga? And more importantly, whoever does start, what do they look like? I'm very interested to see that. My expectation is that they're probably going to put Edoga out there to give Max Mitchell a lot of reps with the twos. That's what I'm hoping happens. That's what I'm hoping happens, but we'll see. Next is the defensive line. We know that our best unit on this football team, our most deep unit, is the defensive line. I'm really interested to see what these guys look like, especially up against a Jalen Hurts-led offense. Now, let me speak this really quickly. I have no idea if Jalen Hurts is going to be starting this game, but with how Philadelphia runs a very run-heavy scheme, an RPO-heavy scheme, I think it leads a lot of good things into week 1 against the Ravens, and I'm super interested to see how this defensive line rotation looks like, who plays where, who lines up next to Quinnen, where does JFM go, who gets the nod once we pull Carl Lawson off or JFM off, who's that next man up, what do the twos look like, what does Jermaine Johnson look like, and who's just being disruptive and in the backfield all day. Next story is wide receiver room. The wide receiver depth on this team is really, really great. So a good question that's going to be asked is who's going to get the run with the ones? We do have players that have that first team wide receiver caliber who aren't there. A great example of this is Garrett Wilson, Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios. Who gets the nod to run with the ones? Who gets the nod to run with the twos? And when they're running with the twos, what do they look like? I guess more importantly is where does Denzel Mims and Garrett Wilson play? I know that Jeff Smith is going to get reps, and so are undrafted free agents, and I am interested in seeing, like, what does Irvin Charles look like against NFL corners, even if it'll be against the 2s and the 3s. I still want to see these guys because they can turn into something in a couple of years if we can stash them on a practice squad long enough. So I'm really interested to see who runs with which unit in that wide receiver room and what that looks like level of play-wise. Next is our second best unit on this team outside of the defensive line room, and that's our defensive back rooms. I know that a lot of people are excited to watch Sauce Gardner. I am too, especially in Gotham Green, but the real thing that I think we've got to talk about is, who's going to be those next man up and what do they look like? Who lines up next to Jordan Whitehead at safety? What do our safeties look like? There's a lot of interesting topics and conversations that need to be had there because I think they're interesting. We know that injuries happen, and while in the cornerback room I feel confident in Brandon Echols and I feel confident in Bryce Hall, what happens in the safety room? That safety room is up for grabs. We don't know who's going to win the starting job. We don't even know who's going to be the backups. So I'm really interested to see who those guys are and just to see this new look defensive back room. DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, Jordan Whitehead all running out there as a unit for the first time is going to be exciting. And this linebacker room, Quan Alexander, CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams. I want to see what these guys look like in year 2 of this system. Quan obviously in year 1 of this system, but I'm excited to see what these guys look like. And then last but not least, the final story that I think is really interesting is Mike White. My expectation is that Mike White is going to get a lot of the starting, not starting, right? He's going to get a big nod once the twos come out. And I think he's going to stay out there for quite some time. And I think that that's a strategic move by Joe Douglas and this front office to really try to pump up Mike White's value. I don't know if we want to run this year with 3 quarterbacks going into it that are that high level quarterbacks. Mike White is an asset that can be traded, and he did have that Canton game. And if he can build up some of his stock, because after the Bengals game he kind of did nothing, if he can build up some of his stock, he might be an interesting trade piece and someone that we can move for an asset before the season starts. If another injury happens, knock on wood, if we feel like a position group is kind of weak, whatever it is, Mike White is trade bait, and we can send him somewhere for a pick that we can turn into a player, for just a pick straight up. I don't know, but I'm curious to see how Mike White looks under center, running the twos, and everything like that. Let me know in the comment section below, are there any stories that you guys are excited to watch? Guys, football's back. Preseason is here. I am excited. But last but not least, go Jets.